Are you ready to stare into the eyes of time? Into an era that stretches back 3.5 millennia? Today, we embark on a journey that began in 1922, in the scorching heat of Egypt's Valley of the Kings, where the pickaxe of Howard Carter broke through into oblivion. This is not just a story of gold and glory. It is a story of a curse, a conspiracy, and one of the most influential discoveries in the history of archaeology, the story of the mummy of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. The young ruler, who ascended the throne at the age of 9 and passed into eternity before he was 20. His name, erased from all temples and monuments by his successors, was meant to be forgotten forever. But fate preserved his tomb, the only one to reach us nearly intact, thanks to a stone that shielded it from the eyes of marauders. On the day Carter peered into a crevice with a candle in his hand and, in response to the question, "What do you see?" uttered, "Wonderful things." The world was changed forever. Inside lay treasures beyond imagination. 5,000 artifacts, golden chariots, jewelry, weapons, statues of the jackal-headed god Anubis guarding the entrance. But the ultimate treasure was a massive sarcophagus, which concealed, like a macabre nesting doll, 3 more coffins, with the final one holding the golden mask of the boy king, staring into eternity with eyes of lapis lazuli. It was a triumph. But then began what the press would sensationalize as the Pharaoh's curse. Lord Carnarvon, the expedition's patron, dies suddenly from a mysterious fever following a mosquito bite. At the moment of his death, the lights in Cairo famously flicker and die, while back at his estate in England, his dog howls and drops dead. Over the next few years, several others connected to the tomb's opening die from unexplained causes. Archaeologist Arthur Mace, radiologist Archibald Douglas Reed, Carter's personal secretary. Carter himself, the first to disturb the pharaoh's slumber, lives for many more years, as if the spell had passed him by. Was it merely a fabrication by journalists hungry for a headline? Or did the ancient priests know something beyond our comprehension? This is where the realm of conspiracy and alternative hypotheses begins. Science offers explanations. The causes of death were a fungal infection in the lungs, toxic bacteria, sealed within the tomb for millennia. But can a microorganism explain a chain of fatal coincidences? Some researchers whispered about radioactive minerals the Egyptians might have used to preserve their tombs. Others, of ancient biological weapons, whose secrets were lost to time. But the most intriguing mystery is hidden not in how these people died, but in why Tutankhamun himself died. A CT scan of his mummy revealed a shocking secret. The boy's body had been mummified in violation of all sacred canons. His heart, the key to the afterlife according to Egyptian belief, was ripped out. His body was found drenched in liters of embalming resin, as if someone had tried to literally burn away the evidence. And most crucially, a fractured left leg and a severe head trauma. Was it murder? This is where history merges with a political thriller. After Tutankhamun's death, power was seized by the powerful Vizier I, and then by General Horemheb, who methodically destroyed all mentions of the heretic Pharaoh Akhenaten, and likely, of his successor, Tutankhamun. Was the young pharaoh a pawn in the hands of powerful courtiers, whom he dared to challenge? Did he become a victim of a palace coup that rewrote the history of an entire dynasty? His death was not an end, it was an instrument of power. So, who was Tutankhamun? A pale shadow of history, a golden bookmark accidentally found, or a key to understanding the inner workings of the most powerful civilization of the ancient world? His treasures tell us of wealth, but his body screams of betrayal, brutality, and a struggle for power that rages for millennia. The philosophical conclusion of this story is profound and unsettling. Tutankhamun teaches us that the past is never truly dead. It lives in our genes, our myths, our ambitions. We, like Carter, are trying to peer through a crevice in search of wonderful things, gold, glory, knowledge. But sometimes, we unleash something else. Not a curse in the form of a ghost or a fungus, but the truth. And the truth, especially one buried for millennia, is always dangerous. For centuries, the boy pharaoh Tutankhamun lay forgotten. But in 1922, Howard Carter's discovery changed everything. His tomb was filled with gold, but its greatest secret was hidden in the mummy itself. The legend of the curse began when Lord Carnarvon died mysteriously. But modern science tells a different story. CT scans reveal Tutankhamun suffered a severe leg fracture and head trauma right before death. His body was mummified in a hurry, drenched in excess resin as if to hide evidence. This was no accident. It was likely murder. The prime suspects? Vizier I and General Hormheb, the very men who took power after him. They systematically erased Tutankhamun from history, only for the tomb to preserve the truth. The real curse wasn't supernatural. It was the curse of power, the same political intrigue that killed the young pharaoh. His golden mask doesn't just show us a king's face, but reminds us that history is written by winners, while truth waits patiently in the dark to be discovered. Why was his name so violently erased from history? The answer lies in the political chaos preceding his rule. He was the heir of Akhenaten, the heretic pharaoh who abandoned Egypt's traditional gods. Tutankhamun's reign was an attempt to restore the old order, but the shadow of his father's revolution made him a target. The CT scan evidence is damning. The unhealed fracture on his left thigh occurred before death, meaning the young king was already severely injured and immobilized. The head trauma, however, was the final blow. Forensic analysis suggests it was not a fall, but a deliberate, powerful impact. This paints a grim picture. A wounded, helpless pharaoh, finished off by someone who had access to his chamber. The conspiracy theory gains weight when we follow the power. Vizier I, the elder statesman, performed the burial rites, a role reserved for the heir. He then immediately seized the throne. General Hormheb, after I's death, didn't just become pharaoh. He launched a systematic campaign to delete the entire Amarna period from history, chiseling away the names of Akhenaten, I, and Tutankhamun from the monuments. He wasn't just erasing rivals. He was erasing a failed and embarrassing dynasty. So was it a curse? Perhaps. Not of magic, but of truth. The tomb acted as a time capsule, preserving for millennia the evidence of a crime that the perpetrators thought they had buried forever. The curse was the inevitable exposure of their treason. When Carter broke the seal, he didn't just unleash ancient spirits, he unleashed the truth, and it proved just as deadly to their legacies. The pharaoh's tomb ultimately served not as a monument to his glory, but as a silent witness to his murder.